What's up, guys? Welcome back to GNS Trucking YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Me and Braxton is here at the office, and we decided we're going to put a video together. So I'm showing him more into the trucking industry, and what got this all started today is somebody gave him these cards. These trucks are like a kid's dreams trucks. You know, this is what their dreams are from. Like, this is what gets a kid into trucking and becomes somebody that owns a truck like this. This truck is amazing. This truck's amazing. This truck's amazing. They're all amazing. I mean, I would love to drive any one of them. And I remember when I was Braxton's age, me riding my dad's truck, and this is what I was looking at. Awesome cars like this. Thinking, dang, Dad, one day I want to have a truck like that. Well, my dream came true. I have a truck like that. The one that I picked out when I was a kid, I have it. And I want the same thing for him. I really do. I want him and his brothers and sisters, all of them. If they have the dream of owning a truck like this, I want them to be able to have that dream. Well, if we don't stand up and fight, guys, if we don't stop the things that are happening to the trucking industry right now, it isn't going to exist anymore. So we're going to put a video together today of what's going on with the trucking industry, what is costing us, our expenses, and what's killing us and what's going to kill the trucking industry. And pretty soon the government's going to have to take over completely, and they will have the trucking industry, which is what they want. So we're going to get into the video, and as always, guys, thank you for watching. This is going to be a little bit different, and guys, I try not to get political on this channel. I try not to put out videos like this. I like positive videos, but we've got to talk about this. We have got to come together as a country. We've got to come together as drivers, brokers, everything. We've got to come together. If we don't, we're in trouble. So everybody's greed and everybody's wanting to make more money and have this and that. It's time that we come together or we're in trouble. So I've got a list of stuff we're going to talk about, and I've even got proof of what this stuff costs, you know, with my company. You know, I don't know about other companies, but I can tell you what mine cost. All right. So first, we're going to talk about rates, and this is going to be throughout the whole video. This is what rates should be. You know, you should be making $3 both ways. This should be one-way freight. That's what it costs right now. If you're wanting to make money, if you're wanting to actually put profit in the bank, in your savings account, you can't be running for less than $6 one way, which if you don't get a backhaul, then, you know, it's $3. You cut that in half, you get $3. And you can make it on $3 a running mile. I mean, you're not going to get rich, but you're going to make, you know, pretty decent wages, pretty decent money, and be able to put money up to keep your company afloat and, you know, even keep up with stuff without stressing out. $1.65 is what the average rate is right now. And it's actually lower than that. I put it a little bit higher, but the average rate for a trucking company is around the $1.65 range. All right. And rates are just going down. I mean, they're not coming up. They've been high for a little bit due to, you know, shortages and people needing to get stuff hauled. And I knew, like I called this a year ago. I said, eventually something's going to have to happen. It's going to have to balance itself back out. And people are going to have to sell everything they got just because, you know, people took advantage of that high freight cost and, you know, was charging out the butt just to make things happen. When somebody called to get pharmaceuticals hauled, you know, there's not enough trucks out there right now, or haven't been over the COVID thing. You know, the driver shortage and all that. So, you know, it was pretty much name your rate. And brokers took advantage of that. Drivers have taken advantage of that. And, you know, and then you got the guys that don't charge nothing, that just, you know, undercut everybody just to make a truck payment. So all that combined is a recipe for a disaster. And that's what's happening right now, a disaster. That's some of what we're going to talk about, the rates. All right, first we're going to talk about insurance costs. All right, and I've got what we just paid for our insurance for the month. All right, we just paid them $17,150.66 on 2/23/22. So we just paid that. All right, $17,000 for 1 month. And I don't know how many people out there have $17,000 to pay your insurance for a month, but we sure as heck do not. We don't make enough money to pay a $17,000 bill, but we had to keep rolling. And I can tell you right now, everybody thinks since I pull boats and I pull big yachts and stuff like that, that we make killer money. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, most freight haulers for the last 6 months have way better rates than I had, and it shows. I mean, I've told everybody, hey, eventually it's coming down. Go buy that $100,000 trailer, and you're going to be selling it in 6 months for half the price, because it just can't stay that way. Everybody thought rates are way up, they're going to make all this money. People's been out buying nice Peterbilts, big nice trailers, stainless spreads. The trailer market went crazy. Right now, you cannot buy a reefer for under $100,000. 2013 model reefer right now, $60,000, where before they were $15,000 or $20,000. So the prices on equipment, used equipment, has just went out the roof because you can't get nothing new right now. And anything with emissions that are broke down, you can't get parts for them. So there you go, EPA. Thank you. So insurance cost is, like I said, it's out the roof. And that's one thing that really cripples a trucking company. And that's the one thing that we work on to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Your average truck in America, in the United States, let's say in the United States, 10,000 to 20,000, depending on if you got a speeding ticket or if somebody at the supermarket bumped into your car. It's going to determine whether your insurance is going to be $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year per truck. $10,000 per year or $20,000. In between, in between is really, that's your average cost in between. And literally, when I say somebody bumps into you at the supermarket and you have a CDL and you call and make a report on it, that will make your insurance go way, way up. I just had it happen. I had a driver, somebody actually slung a dry shaft out and it hit his truck. Well, he filed an insurance claim. When I called to put him on my insurance, it was $3,000 per month to add him. Just because of that. And it wasn't his fault. Something hit his car. So the insurance companies have complete control of the trucking industry. They name their prices, and there's nothing we can do about it except pay it. All right, fuel cost. All right, fuel right now and this is my bulk fuel. This is not on the road, so I get a little bit cheaper just because I buy so much. And the fuel guy's my buddy, and it's not cheap. So as of 2/2/22, for 1,480 gallons, we paid $5,163.72. All right, here we go, 761 gallons, almost $3,000. That's 228. It went up to 389 from 348. All right, and then $5,638 for 1,500 gallons that's 1,300 gallons. So it's 375 there. All right, this is starting from February 2nd. All right, and here we are, March the 4th. I just paid $6,898 for 1,500 gallons. So what's the difference there from $68.98 to $51.60? That's almost $2,000. Holy crap! Yeah, that's almost $2,000. What's the difference there, honey? $68.98.50. $68.98.50 minus $51.63. Wow. $1,700 difference in 1 month. 1 month, I'm paying $1,700 more in fuel. Dang, wow, that's 32 days. 30 days. So there's your fuel cost for 1 month, and the price difference, and this is me buying bulk fuel. Today in town, it was $5.25 per gallon. All right, and I got it for $4.59, which that will go up tonight. That's why I went ahead and had them top everything off. I topped off every single one of my trucks, even my parts trucks, my spare. Even if I had an empty, clean tank, it got filled up today. Just because fuel will be probably $6 to $7 a gallon in the next few weeks. And from what I hear, we completely shut off Russia from sending any exports in. So we're not taking any fuel from Russia right now. So I'm seeing $7 a gallon fuel in the next week or two. So I'm going to be filling everything up that I've got. I know fuel gouging ain't cool. I'm not going to the fuel stations, take all the fuel. I'm going to have my fuel guy bring it here. But that's a little bit into what we pay for fuel for 1 month. That's not out on the road. That's just here on the yard. So our trucks, before they leave here, I make them fuel up here at the yard. Braxton usually fills the trucks up before they leave. And they'll usually get fuel on a trip probably twice. So they leave here 300 gallons, and on the way out they have to get fuel, and then they have to get fuel on the way back. So do what?
I just put in the last fuel for this is what we have for 2 months.
And fuel?
Yeah. From January the 1st to today.
$75,000 in fuel.
And almost 19 gallons.
So 19,000 gallons. And so that's not including yard fuel, right?
Huh?
That's not including yard fuel? That's just...
I just finished putting yard fuel in.
Okay. Wow. So $75,000 in 2 months. And what are we running right now? 10 trucks total between hot shots and big...
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit on the fuel. All right, without rates changing, all right, fuel has doubled. Literally, it's doubled. All right, and rates are still below $1.65 a running mile. All right, and it needs to be $6 and $3 per running mile, which when I say running mile, I mean every mile that your truck turns, it needs to be at $3 to make it in today's market. All right, so we've covered fuel costs, we've covered insurance costs. All right, now let's talk about broker overreach. All right, broker overreach is, when I say that, so when you take off in your truck, say you've got a load here at the house and you're taking it to California. All right, you get out there, you deliver your load, and you don't have a backhaul, so you call a broker, which in the food industry, in freight industry, I'm not talking about boats, like specialized freight. I'm not talking about that. This is just merely dry box freight, reefer freight, flatbed freight. Brokers have their hand so far into that industry. You can't do nothing without somebody getting a cut of your money. So a broker, customers got a load they need pulled. All right, these brokers, they are like vultures. When they know there's freight out there that they can make money off of, you'll get text messages, phone calls. Hey, let us cover your freight. Let us cover your freight. We'll have a truck there. We'll get you a truck. So a broker gets a truck to a customer, and they get a cut of it. They should get like a 5 to 10% cut. All right, most brokers today are getting 70% of that number. So the customer pays the broker, and the broker pays the driver, or the trucking company, whoever, whether you're owner operator, if you're a company driver, whatever. So 70%. So you got a $10,000 load in California that you can bring back. That's what the customer's paying the broker. All right, that broker is probably going to pay you $5,500. That's your average rate coming back right now for anything with a reefer or a dry box. And they're making, $4,000 to $5,000 off of that. Why they're making that much is beyond me, because they're sitting at a computer. All right, they have no risk, or very little risk. They're sitting at a computer, making phone calls, being vultures, and they're getting 70%, 9 times out of 10, 70% of that freight. And that right there something needs to be done. Either these brokers need to open their eyes up and see what they're doing to the trucking industry and what they're doing to families across America, or the government, since they love to stick their hands in the trucking industry, needs to do something about it. And they actually went to DC 2 years ago over e-logs, which needs to be on this board, and the brokers and the rates, and nothing got done about it. Nothing. All right, nothing got done. There was so much drama going on in the world, so much fighting, so much hate over our awesome president, Mr. Trump. You know, nothing could get done. Literally nothing. You know, the two parties fought so much while he was in office. Nothing good could come out of it. So much fighting, so much worried about what somebody's saying on Twitter. Who cares what somebody says on Twitter? Literally, let's love each other and care about each other's families and make this country great again. That's what we need to do. All right, so broker overreach, that's pretty much what it is the brokers are taking way too much money, and they know that they can, because if you got a truck driver that has to pay insurance, that has to pay fuel costs, that has to pay for his maintenance, has to pay his driver, has to pay for his mechanic, he can't afford to sit out there and wait on a high dollar load. He can't afford to sit there because that broker knows that somebody is going to take it. Yeah, now on Friday at 4 o'clock, if they hadn't got that load covered for a cheap price, they'll come up and you'll get more money. And there's a lot of drivers out there that'll stick around and wait on that. And they run their business just off of that kind of, that tactic. That's the way I done it when I was running dry box and reefer. I would wait, and on Friday I would book loads I would spend all Friday afternoon booking loads for the weekend. And that's where we'd make our big money, because they have to get them covered. And I'd always tell them, like, you know what? If you'd have paid this during the week, this load had done been covered. Somebody else would have got a good load, and you could have passed one on to me. So broker overreach, check. We kind of went over that. All right, now maintenance cost. I didn't have her pull out a whole lot of stuff on maintenance just because it's aggravating. Tires right now is something else that's really, really hard to get for a trucking company right now. 11R22.5 America CS drive tires. I just bought these for the W900. All right, $1,460 for 4 tires. That's what, $365 a piece. This tire used to be $200 a piece, or $210, and probably by the time it was put on, probably get it for $800-900 out the door. You'd be out the door with 4 tires. All right, I could put a whole set on my truck for $2,000 of America's drive tires. I used to do it all the time, and that is long gone because you can't even get them. All right, I was lucky to get these 4 without having to wait on them because they had to order them in. All right, and I put 4 Yokohamas on the front, or 4 Yokohamas on the back, and I put these Americas on the front. I put all 8 new tires on it. And you're probably wondering, why didn't you just put all 8 Yokohamas on it? I tried, and I couldn't. I gave $625 a piece for the 4 Yokohamas, where before they were $300, $320, and I could only get 4 of them. I called every tire shop around here between Knoxville and Chattanooga, and I could only get 4 Yokohamas, 4 matching of the Yokohamas, $4,060 to put 8 tires on my W900, and 4 of them are knockoff Chinese tires that they will not last near what those Yokohamas will. They will not last a quarter of the time that the Yokohamas will. Yeah, they're good tires for, if you want cheap tires, and that's the only thing you can get right now. Limited, but for $4,000, I used to be able to put all Michelin's on my truck from front to back. That is long gone, and the tire shortage right now is not good. Because I know I'm not the only company that's suffering, because I do my research when it comes to buying tires, parts, oil, filters, my maintenance. I'm all about saving money, and without, if you can't get it, you can't get it. That's just all there is to it. All right, for 55 gallons of oil, and this was the last 55-gallon drum that they had. All right, and I've called Knoxville, Chattanooga, all the places that I usually get my oil, and I cannot get oil right now. This was the last 55-gallon drum of Kendall, and I want to keep the same oil in my trucks that I've always ran, and I can't. I have to switch over back to Rotella just because I found 4 drums of Rotella, and that's all I could find. So I went ahead and bought those 4 drums just because I have to have oil. I have to keep these trucks rolling to feed my family. And if I don't, then we're going to suffer. So 4 drums of oil, Rotella, I gave $1,000 a piece for them. So $4,000 for 4 drums. I can do 4 oil changes out of this one drum right here, which was $919.92. Yeah, you can't even put an order in a Rotella right now. So that's another big issue with the trucking industry is parts availability, maintenance availability, tire availability. All right, now I'm just a little small company, guys. I'm not a big company at all compared to what's out there. So I know that we're in big trouble. Small companies shouldn't have no issue. It should be the big companies that's got to get the bulk stuff. So that's maintenance. All right, we're done with maintenance. All right, driver shortage, which is not a big problem for me because I just employ, 10 to 15 people at a time. So, and being on YouTube, it helps out a lot, and everybody loves their family ran company, and people that drive for us is treated like family, and we take good care of our drivers, and we pay them really well. So we're not really too hurt on the driver shortage. We've got a pretty good stack of applications. But there's other companies out there that are suffering big time. I know a company that just went under. They run way nicer trucks than I do, really nice equipment, and they paid well, but they could not get drivers. But the driver shortage thing, there's not really a driver shortage. Drivers want the best trucks. They want a big Peterbilt, big old long hood that gets 4 miles to the gallon and the company can't make no money. Or they want a brand spanking new truck that you cannot get right now. If you order a new truck, it takes a year minimum. There's a year wait list to buy a brand new truck right now. And you can't get them. So, yeah, drivers don't want to drive. They're spoiled. They're not willing to jump in this old equipment. The ones that are, that's your really good drivers. They like the old equipment. They run good, and you ain't got to worry about being broke down all the time. But the way that the government has pushed these big companies, we're getting a little bit off topic here. The government has pushed these big companies to push people through driving school. They've pushed these big companies to do a lot of things. But the main thing is they're taking people, and I'm not putting anyone down. I'm not saying nothing bad about nobody. I could care less what your history's like. I could care less what you've done in your past. But they will find people that are broke. They find people that, broken people that just haven't got their life together, and they'll pay for you to go to a motel room and go through a driving school. And then once you're done with that, that's when they treat you like a number. They don't even treat you like you're a human being anymore. And they'll put you in a truck with a team driver and train you for 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And they run you back and forth out west, and they run your butt off. And they pay you crap money, just enough money to keep you alive, keep you fed. All right, if you go to a big company like, say, Trans Am, Swift, a lot of those companies, when you first start out with them, they might have good programs now, but I know this was in the past. But you got treated like a number. You get paid, you might get paid $300 or $400 a week by the time you take your schooling out, all that stuff, everything that you owe the company, your escrow, your motel. They say they pay for that stuff, but at the end, you pay for every bit of that. I know a guy right now is paying $4,000 to go to driving school when I can train somebody in a truck, pay them $500 a week to train with me for 2 weeks with their permit. Then I can send them, and for $150, physical, driving everything and get their CDLs. But the good old government just took that away from us, because now it's mandatory. You have to go to class for 40 hours before you can get a CDL. So I can no longer train a driver the way they need to be trained, my way, train them to where they're a good driver. They know all the safety stuff. They know everything they need to know, proper backing, real life experience. Now you cannot do that anymore. I've literally got 3 people that I planned on training this year and getting their CDLs and put them in my trucks, which 50% of my employees I trained from ground zero, never even been in a truck, and I will put them against the best out there. They're good drivers. And every single one of them, I helped them get their CDL. They never went to a school, not one day. But we can't do that no more, because the government made sure that they had to go to driving school, which is going to put them in the big mega companies. So now they're going to have to drive for the big mega fleets, which will take it over. They'll take the trucking industry over. I'd say in the next 2 years, an owner-operator, independent, is going to be a thing of the past. All right, guys, we're going to try to get on through this video. I know I'm going over a lot of stuff really fast, and this should be like 2 or 3 videos. I wish I could just go over one thing on each video, but I want to get this out of the way, and I want to get back to life as usual. But guys, this is where we're at. And this is my opinion. This is my views. You can do your research like I have. I research it every day. I'm in the trenches every day. I deal with it every day, and I see what's going on out there. So I've pretty much outlined a lot of what's going on, and I'll explain that real quick. All right, the mega carriers, the big guys. All right, the reason why they're going to survive all this, these high fuel prices, they're going to survive all this crazy crap that just seems to be going on, and it works just perfect for them, is insurance costs. All right, the mega carriers are self-insured. They don't have to carry insurance like we do. They can self-insure their business. So, and the way they do that is because they've got big investors, big backers, big breaks, big tax breaks, all this big money that they save. They can probably run, I bet you a mega carrier could run for 25 cents a mile and still make it great, because they've got all these big breaks. Insurance costs, all right, like I said, they're self-insured. Fuel costs, big breaks, big investors, they're government funded. They have the government backing them. They get all these big old fuel breaks. All right, brokers, they are the brokers. They don't have to worry about brokers taking all the money from a load, because they literally are the brokers. They give their fleets all the big good loads. JB Hunt, Swift, all of them are big brokers now. And all their companies get all the good money, and then when they can't cover a load, they give it to one of us small guys, and they take their cut, their 70% cut. So actually, they're probably smarter giving it to us, because they know the people out here that's trying to make it as an independent has to pay insurance, big fuel costs, has to pay the broker, has to pay the maintenance, has to pay for not having good drivers. They have to pay the high dollar mechanic costs. They have to pay all of it. So they know that they're going to take those loads cheap, and they're going to make the big cut and not even have no liability in it. All right, so there's another big thing about it. Maintenance cost on a big mega fleet, they have it in the bag, because everything they use, the government gives them a big break. They use this, so they say this certain battery, if they got to replace the batteries on their trucks, you know what the government does? They say, if you use this battery, all right, you're going to get this big old break on it. And it just works out for both of them. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was at a truck shop from CR England. He was sitting there, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he'd been there for 3 days, because this shop, it was out in the middle of Dodge City, Kansas. There's this little video shop out there, and like his batteries were shot. And they had to wait literally 2 days to get the right, that company would only let them use one kind of battery on that truck. I'm like, why is that? And the shop owner's like, because it's, you know, they get all these tax breaks and stuff from the government. They have to use certain things, you know, it don't cost them nothing to use that battery. So right there, their maintenance, their tires, all that stuff, they get huge breaks on it. They don't have to deal with driver shortage because the government just made sure of that by making everybody go to a school, which costs a lot of money that most people don't have. So these big companies, the big mega carriers, they pay for you to go to school, right? They're going to pay that bill for you. They're going to pay that $4,000 and $5,000 for you to go to their school 9 times out of 10. They all have their own schools. And they're going to pay for you to go to their school, the $4,000 or $5,000, and they're just going to take it out of your check. You know what? For the next 6 months to a year, you're tied to that carrier. You're going to be paid, I don't know, $300 to $800 a week, and you're going to work your tail end off. And they are going to own you. They are going to own you for the next year. So yeah, I do not support mega carriers. I love for everybody to get their start, but they should be able to get their start the way they want to get it. Not because that's the only choice they have. And that's the only choice they have as of now. So driver shortage, they don't have to worry about that. Mechanic cost, they definitely don't have to worry about that just because all these other reasons I said. All the brakes, they got, you know, guys out of college, stuff like that, they can afford to pay a good mechanic to work for them, and most of them do. They have good setups when it comes to mechanic shops at their terminals. I give them that. They are set up right, and I'd love to be set up that way, but I don't want to be set up. I don't want to have to bend over to do it. So mechanic cost, yeah, mega carriers got it down. They were already prepared for e-logs. Like I said, they're the ones that started it. So yeah, they were prepared when all of us wasn't. That's what took out all the mom and pop trucking companies that went out when it was mandated. And it fought off for a long time, but it finally did happen. They got the right people in office to where they could make it go through. So when e-logs happened, they took out a lot of companies, a lot of them. All right, and this right here is what's going to finish it off. The EPA, because we can't afford to go out and buy a $280,000 truck. These emissions trucks, they're broke down everywhere. You can't buy them. I don't know what the deal is with them because from what I hear, they're being made every day. But to buy a new emissions Peterbilt right now, it's $260,000. To get it all decked out and all that stuff, you're $280,000, almost $300,000. All right, same thing with a nice reefer. If you go buy a nice reefer trailer, you're $100K into it. All right, so you're like $400,000, almost $500,000 for one truck and one trailer. That's crazy. I can't afford that, and I know a bunch of other companies around here that cannot afford that. You want to be in debt for millions and millions and millions of dollars for trucks that are junk. These trucks, they might make it 20,000 miles. They might make it 100,000 miles. Yeah, you might get a diamond in the rough that'll make it $1 million, but it's very rare. On anything with an ISX with emissions on it, anything with a DD15, DD16 with emissions on it, anything with emissions, you're not getting 1 million miles out of that truck without issues. You're just not doing it. I've heard of it very few times, but 9 times out of 10, it's not happening. So you're dealing with trucks that are junk that you're paying almost $500,000 for. If you do have a warranty on it, it breaks down. Yeah, it can go to the shop. You're going to get your warranty if they warranty whatever broke down. They don't warranty emissions though. But if your truck breaks down, you got a warranty on it. It goes to the shop. It might sit there 4 to 6 weeks because all these parts are on back order. You can't get emissions parts right now because every single thing out there is on back order. They're all breaking down for the same thing. And with COVID happening and all that stuff, there's not workers out there producing the stuff that needs produced. So you can't get parts for them. They're sitting everywhere. I can't get parts for the Detroit engine, let alone trying to get parts for something that the EPA has made everybody get. Everybody's got the same motors, the same issues, and if you got everybody's got the same thing that's broke down, and there's not any to replace the parts that are broke, Jesus, that's just a recipe for disaster. But these mega carriers, they've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of trucks with them all together, and they're all coming together as one big company, seems like lately. And they don't have to worry about it because they have got an abundance of trucks and abundance of trailers, and they control the industry. They will. Before it's all said and done, they will control the industry. So this is my views, and I've been dreading making this video. I didn't want to even have to make this video. I was hoping things would work itself out. But guys, seriously, if fuel don't change, if rates don't change, if brokers don't change, if the government keeps on with the EPA stuff, if there's really going to be electric trucks, Kamala Anderson, like I said, they had a meeting with the EPA. She's teamed up with the EPA. By 2030, there will be all electric trucks. That's what they want. They don't want no more diesel trucks being made, just because they want them to be all electric, and it just can't happen. You cannot turn everything electric and expect it to survive these harsh winter conditions. Mother Nature will not let it happen. Yeah, electric's cool, and I get it. I like the Teslas and stuff. They're fast, they're cool. But we need real American diesel-powered trucks to turn this country over and over and over and over. We don't need nothing electric. I think that's about it, guys. I think that's all I'm going to go over tonight. I'm getting really worked up over it. And my son is over here. Look at this. I want you to look at these trucks. Not that we don't like that truck, but we don't like that truck. My son loves these trucks. My son works every day. I'll literally rely on him now as an employee for me. He's not really an employee. He's too young to be an employee, but you guys know what I mean. This kid is by my side every day. He works his tail end off. He gets paid every week for the work that he does. He fuels these trucks. He works on these trucks. He loves these trucks just like I do. All right, big companies start little, like at me. I started out with one truck. I have a dream of having 100 trucks. But when I have 100 trucks, I will know every one of my drivers' names. I will know every one of my drivers' families. I will know their problems. I'll know their issues. I'll know what they need to survive. I'll know if they're having financial issues that I can help them with if I'm capable. That's the difference in a real trucking company or a trucking company out here to bleed America dry with all of its money and greed. So my kid loves these trucks, and most kids, they get in the trucking industry, this is what they see. They see trucks like this, people like this. I mean, these people right here probably looked at the same cards of somebody else when they were his age. And look at them now. They got these awesome trucks, and they're out here making the world go round. They're delivering your food, your goods, everything that's in your household. These trucks deliver that. Your food, look, this is at a farm. That truck probably pulls beans, corn. I mean, this is the real American way. I mean, not even just America. It's all over the world. I mean, people and kids. I mean, people look at a truck driver today like they would a veteran. You know, truckers, people look up to them. And people are starting to thank everybody for delivering their goods and for fighting the good fight and working their tail ends off to make the world go around. And I love you guys for that. I love all the support on the YouTube channel. I love all the support for our company and all the support for all the guys up there fighting for us at the convoy right now. And it sucks that I'm not there. I mean, really bad. My motor's down and I'm trying to get another truck up and going. I can't take my fleet trucks off. I can't take food out of my driver's mouths. All my other trucks that are legal, tagged, and insured are out working with drivers in them that feeds their families. So I am getting the W900 ready. The video will be coming out on that pretty soon. I just wanted to put this video out, and hopefully you guys can support the convoy. I feel like they're up there for the right reasons. I'm not there. I can't tell you if it's for the right reasons. I'm getting two different sides of the story from, you know, different drivers. Some say they're just there for the COVID mandate stuff. Some say they're there to fight for all the mandates. the e-logs, the EPA stuff. I mean, it could turn into all of that. And I'm hoping by me voicing and showing you guys what it costs to run this company, what we're dealing with, and how we're suffering, and all companies are going to suffer. All smaller companies that don't have government funded backing are going to suffer and probably going to go out with all this high fuel prices and the cost of tires and maintenance and brakes and just anything it takes to run your trucks. And the overhead's going to be so expensive, we can't afford to run. Because the brokers, they probably are getting more money now. They're probably going to these carriers and saying, hey, these guys can't run like this. The fuel is so high. Their maintenance is so high. They can't get tires. They're probably fighting for us, but they're keeping the money that they get, the extra money. Not all brokers are that way, but I know a lot of them that are. And there's nothing we can do about it except, hopefully they come to their senses and see that it's destroying our country. But guys, the convoy's going on now. Go check it out on YouTube. Thanks once again for following our YouTube channel and being a part of this thing. It's been an adventure, and we love you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.